Life can be very tough, physically and mentally. Sometimes you get hurt along the way, and when you're physically injured, people can see that you're hurt. You can get that treated. An emotional injury, however, is much harder to spot and treat. Performance and mental conditioning coach Scott Wimberly is here to tell us more. Scott, it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Emotional injuries, being hurt emotionally, that's tricky, and it's kind of tough to rehab that injury, isn't it?
It is, and we try to hide that a lot of times. And, you know, but in athletics, sometimes we have to play hurt.
Right.
You know, and it's time, I think, we spend too much time on the sidelines with emotional injuries. And I understand that, you know, some emotional, we use the word injury, emotional injuries are worse than others. I understand that. But there does come a time when you got to get back in the game, you know, and whatever it may be, you may have to play hurt. You know, we have, you know, I work with athletes all the time that, you know, they'll tell me I'd rather play with a little pain than stand on the sideline.
Really?
You know, and people want to wait until they're completely well or healed or, you know, better or whatever before they get back in the game. And, you know, life is just passing them by, you know, day after day after day. And, you know, they turning out the lights and sitting in the dark and watching, you know, Springer and you know, all this stuff. And
staying up all night,
you know, and
smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. That's it.
That's it.
All alone in the room.
Yeah. And, you know, when it's daytime, they can't wait for night. When it's night, they can't wait for the day. You know, and but there just comes a time where you just got to get back in and just play hurt. Play hurt. Now, when someone's hurt physically, they go to the medical staff, get treatment, get help, rehab to do that.
And they have a good idea too of how long this will take.
Got a plan, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, day to day, whatever it may be. And with this emotional healing, we can do that as well. I'm watching Richard flying around. But, you know, we can get emotionally healing and treatment and have a plan to get back in the action, get back in and do what you were, you know, created and put here to do.
Now, this has got to be a little bit tricky because, like you said, we have medicine and science to let us know whenever our ankle is good enough to get back in there and play basketball or something again. With an emotional injury, I'm guessing that probably varies from person to person.
It will.
And depending on how you were emotionally injured, you know, it's probably much safer for somebody to go out on a first date if they recently lost a parent as opposed to recently losing a spouse.
True.
Right.
That's very true. And you know, the age does play a factor in it. You know, where were you when that happened? Where were you in your you know, emotional life, like you just, you know, we're talking about? Were you strong emotionally, or were you already weak? You know, and it's just like with a physical injury. Once you hurt that ankle, it's easier from then on to re-injure. It's always easier to re-injure than it is to injure. And with emotional, we have to watch that too, that you know, you don't put yourself right maybe back in that exact same situation until you're strong enough to do that. But it's time to, you know, for some people, I think, you know, you have to play hurt. Get back in the game, not being callous and not being, you know, like we don't care. We do care. That's why we want you back in the game. We need you.
There you go. Get off the sidelines.
Yeah, get off the sideline. Get
play
back
hurt,
in the game. Play hurt.
And don't let life pass you by.
Right. Get some help. You know.
Count flowers on the wall. No, sir.
Nope. No more short cigarettes for Captain Kangaroo for you.
That's it. Scott, good seeing you, buddy.
Thank you. You too, always.
You can find out more about Scott, his books, and following the roadmap to your destiny online at scottwimberly.com. Well, at long...